The case of Kennedy Brewer. This case involves some serious crimes, an unjust arrest, and a lot of drama. Viewer discretion is advised. Introduction. We are researching Kennedy Brewer. He was accused of raping and murdering his 3-year-old daughter in Mississippi during 1992. He was arrested on March 3, 1992, and he was held for trial for 3 years. The trial began in March 1995, and he was convicted of capital murder and sexual battery. He was finally exonerated on 2/15/2008.
Jurisdiction and the rights of the accused. The case was heard at the state level, and the prosecution consisted of his girlfriend, her family, and their lawyer. The state held original jurisdiction over the case. The local police arrested Kennedy, and he was given a list of his rights, including the right to stay silent, the right to a lawyer, and the right to a free, fair, and speedy trial. In trial, there are certain rights of an individual to be accorded with due process. The right to silence protects the individual, in this case, Kennedy, against self-incrimination. The right to counsel, as provided by the Sixth Amendment, guarantees the defendant legal representation in a fair trial. Court cases such as California v. Greenwood, Wardlow v. Illinois, and Draper v. the United States, and Kylo v. the United States as well. The United States uphold these principles. While the rights were technically provided for Kennedy, they were not well guaranteed, since the evidence brought against him was weak and could not substantiate his conviction. The major evidence of a bite mark on the victim was inconsistent with human rights, and DNA testing proved inconclusive despite having legal representation. Kennedy was convicted without evidence beyond a reasonable doubt, violating the principle of a fair trial. Although Kennedy did not appeal this case, the convictions were later reviewed by an appellate court that dismissed the charges and ordered his release on grounds of no sufficient evidence.
Section 4. Punishment. Kennedy was given the death sentence for his convictions. Due to issues in the punishment system, he was held for 15 years. That's right, 15 years. Not days or weeks or months, but years. We feel that the punishment matches the crime, since it was a very bad crime. Bruh. Section 5. Criminal Justice Reform. This illustrates the problems of the criminal justice system, racial injustice, and human trafficking. Besides others, the cases of the Exonerated Five and United States v. Epstein, racial bias disordered the administration of justice in the case discussed to some extent. A crime of human trafficking where the child was therefore taken forcibly from the home. Such ills call for reform towards fairness and Section 6. The Aftermath. Kennedy ended up being exonerated due to new forensic evidence being uncovered through DNA testing. Kennedy is now recovering from a stroke and the death of their mother that left him unable to work. Previously, he worked at many factory jobs such as chicken processing plant, a catfish farm, and other such jobs. His family is trying to gather funds for his sake. That was The Project by Daniel Russo, Alan, Brendan, and Philip. I hope you enjoyed.
Show highlights his wrongful conviction and the fight to clear his name.
I'm glad that everybody know the truth. People have been calling me, talking about, I seen the documentary, I was crying. Before anybody even know what really had happened, I knew that I'm innocent.
The documentary gives an in-depth look at the crime and trial that sent Brewer to death row, and then ultimately his exoneration.
People do lie on people, and just like they lied on me, but a lot of people, that I was friends with, that know me, everything, they knew that I had do nothing like that.
The Innocence Project reached out to Brewer to be a part of this series, and he happily jumped on board. They spent 8 months in Noxubee County with the 49-year-old telling his story. The Brooksville man says he didn't mind opening up because he wants everyone to know his truth.
It makes me feel good because, I share, to people, that really know besides me, there's a lot of more people that locked up that ain't really committed no crime or whatever. They just accused of something, and they putting it out there that they gonna did this stuff when they ain't. My sister had came picked me up from the jail, you know, and I went home. And then I went out and stopped, talked to my mom for the rest of the day, the rest of the night. It was wonderful, you know. I can lay down when I get ready and get up when I get ready. And eat whatever I want. Nieces and nephew, you know, they were like him. That's my nephew. He was little. Everybody looked different when they had grown up. Yeah, I think I had been out about like a month or so. You know, I had started working at the chicken plant out there in Brooklyn. Yeah, I work at the fish farm now. It's good. Just check, make sure when I get to work in the morning, just ride around the pond, you know, make sure you know fish is dead or nothing, and make sure everything's working right. I go in at 8 in the morning, get off at 4 in the evening. If everything's working right, I ain't got to fix nothing like that most of the day. I just just keep a check on the pond all day. I lost a lot. No problem what I could have been had or whatever, you know. My daughter was like 18 months old. And my son, he was a month old too. They were just started walking and everything, you know. I met that on, you know, just seeing them growing up or whatever. You know, and by the time I got out, you know, they were just about grown.